season 2 of The White Lotus, which dropped its first episode last night on HBO. And man, I mean, White Lotus, surprise of last year.
It's 2020.
Mike, it was 2020. Jeez, really? I guess it's like
Right?
in my mind because we've been talking about it so much with all the Emmy nominations and wins recently. So no, season 1 was
Oh,
2021.
yeah,
July
yeah. Sorry,
2021.
you're right. Yep.
Um,
Back to
so
back.
it has been just like the surprise of last year, and I think we don't need to go too much into why it was great. You can go listen to our past reviews, but mostly just Mike White's ability to really take down the classism and the ignorance of the upper class as they interact in this environment that forces them to really like confront their fakeness and also their like fake activism. I think is just really like what drew a lot of people to it,
Mhm.
but just like so many smart critiques. It's an incredibly well written show, and
Yeah,
season
but
2.
but
I mean,
also bringing you humor, and
yes,
and compelling drama too. Like it was like the whole package, and also because it was unexpected out of nowhere, it made it even that much more satisfying and enjoyable.
and of course, Dynamite cast doesn't hurt, and so when Mike White says, "Yeah, I'll write a season 2, and we're gonna go to Italy, and the cast is gonna be just as stacked," how could you not be in for this, right? And so episode 1 dropped. Dave, are we just right back in the saddle with White Lotus?
We're back, baby. We're
Yeah.
so back.
Yep.
The one connecting piece between seasons as we're at a new White Lotus location. Goodbye Hawaii, hello Italy, as you said, is of course Jennifer Coolidge and John Grease's characters who become partners in the season 1. They are back and as guests at this new other White Lotus, and everyone else is new. And I think that's kind of like the perfect way to frame this as an anthology where you don't need any connective tissue at all. But in hindsight, as HBO, Mike White, Casey Bloys, everyone figured out, White Lotus actually turns out this is perfect anthology format because you can just run back the premise of this show at a new location with a new cast, with a new like plot per se, but the narrative aims are more or less going to be the same in terms of the critique of the wealthy and all that social commentary, as you said. So there's really no reason to, I think, not be in because the cast is still stacked, and now we get to be in a new, beautiful location instead. Like, what's not to like, if you ask me?
Yeah, I was totally taken by this first episode, and not only do I love a lot of the cast here, right? You have Aubrey Plaza, who I think was the person I was by far most excited for in all of this, but obviously you get Jennifer Coolidge back, you have F. Murray Abraham in here, you have the guy from The Sopranos. I'm forgetting his Michael
Like,
Imperioli. Like
yes.
you get like just so many great people. Also, just want to say, did you recognize the voice of Michael Imperioli's wife when he makes the call and she like curses him out?
No, I did not. Who was that?
Laura Dern. They got
Oh,
fucking Laura Dern to just
oh
do
my
this like
God.
voice cameo. Just
Oh my
unreal,
God.
like
Is there
unreal stuff.
perhaps she could be a guest actor in one episode?
I don't know, but if we
Doesn't
get her
seem
on
like
like
it the way these characters are, but
yeah,
it's in
I,
play
I,
maybe.
it would be great. Honestly, I would just love it if she's like the center of a season 3 eventually. Like put Laura Dern in the show. I think she'd be great. But
Hmm.
I think just how he sets up this season with so many like pretty overt but like really smart like character pairings, right? So you have Aubrey Plaza, Theo James,
Yep.
Megan Fahey, and who's the other guy?
Aubrey Plaza's partner. Yeah, what
Yeah,
is his name?
Will is it Will
Ethan.
Sharp? Yeah, Will
Will
Sharp.
Sharp. Yes, as Ethan.
So you have those four, and it's like this very like woke, like over intellectual couple with this like beautiful kind of like dumb but
Aloof.
like yeah happy couple. They're a foursome, and those dynamics were by far my favorite part of the first episode. But then you get the three generations of the Sicilian, Italian family
We
with
don't speak Italian though.
yeah
The
with
DeGrazos.
yeah Abraham, Adam DeMarco, and Imperioli. Um, then you have Jennifer Coolidge, but like her dynamic with Haley Lou Richardson as her,
Yeah, assistant.
yeah, like Gen Z assistant who's like has to like get out of her sight because Greece doesn't want her around. Just like all set up so beautifully, and then of course you have the thing with like the prostitutes and just kind of how they're just kind of like lurking around trying to sneak in. It's all
Yeah,
just like really smart, and it's like you can kind of see where some of these themes are probably going to go, but you're just along for the ride because it's just so smart, and the way that they like do the commentary and the dialogue is just so funny. It's really impressive. What were your favorite like
right.
plot points in the first episode?
Yeah, I think you really nailed it there. And I mean, also now we have Sabrina Impacciatori as Valentina, who is
Yeah.
the manager of this version of the White Lotus, of course, familiar to the Murray Bartlett character from season one, same kind of
Mhm.
idea. And seeing like inner hotel, like hotel operations hijinks already starting in season one with the local uh sex workers trying to sneak in when they're not allowed in. Like you're already getting that. Like it's kind of giving you all that stuff. And we see Theo James's meat right away
Oh
in
my
that scene with
god.
Aubrey
Do you think
Plaza.
that was really his meat? I don't think so.
I'm sure it was a prosthetic,
Yeah.
but I mean that it was packing for sure. And I mean Theo James, Aubrey Plaza, two beautiful people. So we I think most of us are in fact rooting to see that happen, which it seems like that's the way it's going. But and we haven't even seen Tom Hollander yet, who is also on this season, uh, coming soon, I imagine. But I think just like all those threads and like how these characters are going to intersect is which is so compelling because you know the commentary is going to be strong because like Mike White has that wit as a writer and a creator. And like season one, we did start in media res with another dead body. So you have that like underlying like something is going to go wrong. You don't know what's going to go wrong kind of
Mhm.
thing. Don't know if you necessarily need that for this show to like set you up, but I don't know if it detracts either. Um,
Mhm.
I was trying to figure out who was the one who like set up the date with the sex worker, the local woman. And I
Right.
was like, they make it kind of obvious that it could be Michael Imperioli. I was wondering if it might be F. Murray Abraham because he's also like this overtly like womanizing, creepy old man.
Mhm.
So not that that's like really needs to be a mystery, but I was just like trying to see like, are they gonna throw a curveball? Is it gonna be Theo James? You know, like who is it? But it ends up being Imperioli. Um, we'll see what kind of character he is because you have him. They definitely characterize him a certain way via that Laura Dern phone call, but his kind of personality thus far hasn't exactly been that either. So there's obviously a lot going on there.
Mhm.
How do you like being with Tanya and Greg, with Jennifer Coolidge and John Grease? Like for me, like the Tanya character, which I think broadly was like pretty well liked from season one. I never really liked the presence all that much just because like the way that character is portrayed by Coolidge is like that like kind of like aloof like I don't know what's going on. I'm like ignorant of how I affect the world kind of character is just like
Mhm.
so annoying to me. Whereas like I'd rather watch like like shitty entitled like rich people instead because that's like more fun to be around even as you also detest that kind of attitude too. I don't know, that's just my taste, but like do you like being with them? Like obviously their relationship seems to be more on the rocks now in
Yeah.
season 2 than it was obviously as a budding at a new romance in season 1.
Yeah, I like being with Coolidge more than Grease. Grease is just like a total scumbag, and like it seems like he's up to no good here, like taking the calls and
Right.
like pushing her out. But I do enjoy like some of
The
the
macaroons.
bits, yeah, the macaroon thing. But even like when she's like, "Yeah, we have to have sex right now," and he's like, "Well, I gotta go. I have swamp crotch. I gotta go wash this out," and she's like, "Ah, he's always thinking of me." Like it's just like such funny like little moments. I mean, overall, they are not nearly like my top like two or three most interesting parts of the show, but it's like a nice like through line. And I think Coolidge particularly is supposed to like embody this like ultra wealthy like think that they're like do gooder and like woke type person who's actually just like totally oblivious and actually doing
Yeah.
more harm than good, which is like we got it in the first season. I don't know if we needed that through line to the second season, but I have so much faith in Mike White that I assume we're gonna get something more from this eventually.
Yeah.
I gotta say, at the beginning, I thought I was gonna hate Portia, and seeing how much I liked Haley Lou Richardson by the end, and how much I'm rooting for her and the young son there, Albie,
Yep.
Adam DeMarco to get together. I'm excited to see where that goes, and I didn't expect to feel that way. So
Yeah.
definitely intriguing.
Well, and also for me, it gives me another reason to like dislike Tanya because now she's
Mhm.
like treating her assistant terribly, and her
Right.
assistant is also played by someone super likable and also great in Haley Lou Richardson. So, yeah, I mean they got just as much talent this time around, and now it's a new mix. We've stirred the pot, and we're gonna get a new taste of the White Lotus. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing everything happen. Also, like speaking to like the commentary, right? Like I think perhaps a little new this time around was kind of the attitude that the show has about sex work early on, where it's like I forget her name, but the one who's more
Lucia.
experienced, she is kind of speaking about it in a very I think modern, but also like more like feminist point of view, where you know, why not do this if this is something I want to do with my life? I'll take advantage of my looks while I'm young and get all that money and do the things I want to do in life. Like seeing that like presented, I think so matter of factly like that, I think is pretty refreshing because it's both a tasteful but also I think relatively modern and realistic viewpoint of sex work, and it was I think nice to see that kind of setting up a character that otherwise could have been a bit more familiar or rote.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool actually, and I'm interested to see how they play out, especially because so Lucia is the sex worker, but Lucia's friend Mia, is kind of like there, but like doesn't want to be doing sex work, kind of is looking for something more. So feels like there's something larger going to be coming down the pipeline with her. I wanted to ask you, you mentioned the how we see Theo James's hog, or
Yeah.
supposedly his hog in the first episode. What do you think he was trying to do in that scene? Like, do you think he was like coming on to Aubrey Plaza? Do you think that was like a kind of like putting the like sexual abuse type stuff right in her face? Like, what? How did you make sense of it?
Yeah, I think that's probably the best read on it because they're kind of setting up this dude, early on. Like he makes reference to lawsuits that have no merit, and of course, Albert Plaza's character is a attorney who works in that sort of harassment like litigation. So like it's a amazingly blunt contrast right away. So yeah, I'd have to imagine that like that guy is just kind of a entitled prick, and that's something he would do, which would be more or less exposing himself to someone. It's not the most graphic thing you could do in that sort of thing, but I mean, it's still inappropriate. So yeah, um, I would not be surprised to see that through line continued
Mhm.
because right now it's like just a one off, but I think, we'll obviously see more with those two. And who knows, maybe they genuinely come onto each other and it becomes even more messy and thorny and unethical. I think that's what's so compelling about this show is that you can like feel multiple ways about characters that you're spending time with.
Totally. I'm actually interested to see if because I guess how happy Megan Fahey is right at the very beginning, right, and how she's like, "Oh, you're gonna love this place." If Theo James cheats on her, I can't imagine she would feel this happy. So I'm interested to see like either what if she's aware of it, maybe she's the one who like chooses to like maybe not be in the relationship or something like that. I don't know. Like there's got to be something with her, but I'm interested to see where that goes for sure. And also, it's nice to see Aubrey Plaza just like getting a bigger role in something. We've seen her kind of have these like bit roles after Parks and Rec, and I think a larger role, obviously, in the Marvel
Happiest
show with
season.
Dennis Stevens. Well, Happy Season, she's really just like a cameo type of role, but something like a superhero show. I'm totally blanking on at the moment. Dan Stevens, but
Legion.
Legion. Yes, thanks.
Yeah.
So but it's nice to see her like I think being like put front and center because I think that she definitely has more chops than she's given the credit
Yeah,
for.
I agree. And like she's been carrying like independent films pretty consistently the past few years. Like we talked about Emily the Criminal earlier this year, for
Yeah.
example. But like this is obviously very high profile. It's the nine
Yes.
o'clock Sunday night HBO show, HBO drama that just had a million Emmy nominations. Like this is very high profile for her. Um, and you know, deserving of her talent. To get this kind of role. She's great and also proven to be much more multifaceted than
Mhm.
people might have thought watching her playing a part in Parks and Rec. So people know that at this point, but now ideally more people will know that because we'll get to see her front and center on this show.
Can't wait.